Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Thursday, April 16th, 2020 episode of Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only, King of the Ice himself, Philly Pete, and we are live on 12 Ounce Sports Network and Zingo TV. Yes, I know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last show of the week for Pete's Power Plays. I know everyone's bummed out, but I will be back Tuesday as usual. This show, as always, is sponsored by MyBookie. When using and signing up for an account for MyBookie, make sure you use the promo code 12ounce sports 12 OZ sports, all one word, and you can be ready to rock. Whether it's esports betting, whether it's Nicaragua under 20-year-old soccer betting, Belarus betting, Sweden club friendlies. I know Nicaragua under 20-year-old games, and a lot of under 20s and under 19-year-old soccer games are going off right now, let alone in general. So that could get a little boost for your money press as is. So again, when using MyBookie account, make sure you use the promo code 12ounce sports. Also, make sure you hit up the casino for a couple bucks if you want to do some blackjack or roulette. That's always a good time. Also, Seat Giant, again, hopefully in the next 2 months here, when we start back up sports in the middle of June, maybe by 4th of July weekend, we can get to where we should be in terms of going to sports games, hopefully. But in the meantime, when we do, make sure you hit up Seat Giant to get the best seat in the house. And last but not least, Zingo TV. When signing up for an account with Zingo TV, make sure you use the promo code 12ounce 12 OZ. Again, all one word. And you guys can be ready to rock when it comes to all these fabulous shows that we have for each and every one of you, including yours truly, Pete's Power Plays. And like I said, we have so many good things coming in the future in regards to, virtual sports, iRacing. It's just a lot of good stuff that we have on this network coming for each and every one of you. And I'm glad that, everybody on our network can provide you, the fans out there that are streaming live, everything that you need to get through this pandemic and as best as we can entertain you guys. So today I want to talk about some updated NHL news. I have some bright lights of things that will kind of keep it entertaining for NHL purposes. Another estimated start time for NHL, what they think was going to happen. We also know that we are all, or sports in general, are going to be quarantined for an extra 2 weeks till the end of April. So it looks like April 30th, they extended it for another couple of weeks, which is great in my terms. It's the way to go. This is what we have to do. Also, just the way NHL is going to be put into perspective on how they will basically, what they're going to resume when it comes back. Are they going to go straight to the playoffs? Like I said, I know I mentioned this, last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, ending the season now and just strictly playing playoffs. But a couple NHL analysis out there do think that they'll finish out the season, and if they have to play hockey in August, they'll play hockey in August. So simple as that. And also, I will have none other than the queen on the ice herself, Gina Tucci, will be coming in, my wife, again, like always, per usual, discussing the movie The Way Back with Ben Affleck, and we'll give our analysis and reviews about that for the second half of today's show. So I want to start off, first off, give a huge shout out to Chris Jericho for basically getting in touch with me via Twitter and basically giving me a nice shout out because I kind of represented the Inner Circle last night when AEW was on. Again, Gina and I are hardcore wrestling fanatics here, including AEW. So I did get an AEW Inner Circle shirt for my birthday from her, and I rocked it out last night. I sent it out on Twitter, and Jericho retweeted, and he actually reached out to me and said that he was digging the shirt. So that was actually pretty cool. I actually definitely made my night, and shout out to Chris Jericho, man. Love you guys, and I love everything that you do for AEW, and continue the hard work that you have out there and giving us the great entertainment that you could have and give us every Wednesday night on TNT. So NHL, updated NHL news. So just to get some a little bit of entertainment for all of us, it looks like Alex Ovechkin, the OV1 himself, and Wayne Gretzky are going to basically settle their scoring skills, basically test each other out via video games. So it looks like, Ovechkin is about 188 goals away from tying the great one, his career record of 894 goals. So while this NHL season is on pause, which we all know, and I can't believe it's crazy to me that, The season has been put on hold for over a month now. March 12th was when the season was on pause, and it's just crazy to me that here we are over a month later, and we're still stuck in this situation. But NHL fans and NHL players in general are doing what they can to not only entertain themselves but entertain us as the audience that we are for them. So Gretzky and Ovi, they agreed to basically square off in the EA Sports, obviously NHL 20, on Wednesday. So this was last night. The one-night event played on Xbox Live, which unfortunately I have a PS4 and I have NHL for PS4, not on Xbox. However, so they played on Xbox last night, best of 3 series, and it was streamed on the Capitals Twitch channel, which was pretty cool. I did not partake and see this. However, I did see a lot of information on Twitter and a lot of research about this, and it's actually pretty funny. And all proceeds raised will basically go to the Edmonton Food Bank and Monumental Sports and Entertainment's Feeding the Frontlines Fund, which supports the coronavirus relief in the DC area, which is phenomenal. This is great. Just very, very much respected, and why not with these two guys? And again, I can't stress this enough, how sports athletes are doing what they can to basically keep everyone healthy and safe, and giving them some relief as well during the virus, and those that are basically under oath with this pandemic. And it's just really nice to. It's really nice to hear. So it looks like Gretzky pitched the idea to Ovi, and Ovi has a little son, Sergey. So he's basically sitting in his lap during this entire best of 3 series, which is really nice. It's funny though, because like I said, it's nice to just sit back, relax, and let the two great ones, I should say, battle each other out. Because we're used to playing video games, us and the fans out there tuning in. This is video games. If it's part of your agenda, I know it is with mine. But it's good to see players actually playing and doing what they can to help them get through what is going on here. So basically, the first the first NHL Esports Pro to be officially signed by the NHL organization, it was the Monumental Sports and Entertainment. So obviously it's highly active when it comes to esports. So we know that. And last year, the Caps sub-brand Caps Gaming, they signed John Wayne Casagrande. So obviously that was the first NHL organization of Esports Pro to go live. So that was really, really cool. Gretzky has openly rooted for Ovechkin to beat his goals record, which is nice to see too. A lot of players in general are very, very competitive when it comes to points and beating records. And the great one himself, Wayne Gretzky, this is why he is one of the best and very well much respected in the game, because he actually wants Ovechkin to beat the record, and you don't hear that from other athletes in general. So it's just a little fresh of air, basically a fresh air, relief for this aspect. And the two obviously have developed a close relationship. The two players recently, they record their first joint interview together. It's going to be aired on Monday on NBC Sports between the two. So definitely tune into that. That should be fun one to watch. And we know Ovi joined the 700 goal club this season. He's 34 years old. Let's face it, the guy has another 10 years to play on the ice. Like he's just unreal. He is like a Tom Brady, except on the hockey ice. So at this time, NHL is paused. We know that he is tied with Pasta Boy himself, David Pastrnak, for the NHL lead with 48 goals. However, Ovi is 2 goals shy of recording his 50th goal season, which is, his 9th 50-goal season, which is amazing. And again, it's just tough to compare anybody with Ovechkin. Crosby was in that era, but Crosby has been taking a step down of things, and I know injuries takes a toll with him, and when you get older, injuries do take their toll. But Ovechkin, this dude's on another level. I don't know if it's the Russian. The White Russians that are kicking in that he drinks every night, but hey, whatever he does, it's working, because he ties Mike Bossy and Gretzky for basically the most in NHL history. So 13 regular season games he has to get it done. He got it done. and also the second oldest player to score 50 behind Boyack, who was 35 when he did it for Boston, and that was also about 49, 50 years ago. So that's basically when everything's said and done here. But that's really nice to see. And other than that, NHL basically per Bettman, they have to be flexible to resume play. Maintain safety for players and public paramount before they return to the ice. So again, it's been over a month. They basically added an additional 2 weeks on, like I mentioned before. They got to get at least 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even a month to get into shape, as Commissioner Bettman has mentioned previously. So it's going to take some time. And like I said, if they have to play hockey in August, they'll play hockey in August, and just all the other sports that plan to come back, it's going to have to eventually merge into football season. Which, hey, I'm not going to complain. It's going to be nice to see all 4 major sports in action together, which will be amazing. And hey, the bookies won't complain either about that. So stay tuned for that. And like I said, I do expect hockey to return between middle of June to July 4th weekend. So somewhere in that area, we should see the return of NHL. Just not sure if they're going to continue the season or make it shorter, because they did have a month left, or just go straight into the playoffs. Me personally, for Philly Pete, I just want to acknowledge the fact that I think the NHL should just go straight into the playoffs. I think it's best for everyone. I know there are teams fighting for a spot to get into the playoff wild card, but I just think that, the way that if we do finish the regular season, it's gonna keep going, which is fine. But I think from my aspect, and I think from a lot of others that I have kept in contact with, I think starting and going right into the playoffs is the best thing to do. Same with the NBA. So, but that basically wraps up my first segment of the show. And again, time will tell where the NHL heads. So, and also tune in to The Great One and Ovechkin with their interview on Monday on NBC Sports. That should be a fun one to watch. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's bring her in. Here she is, none other than the Queen of the Ice herself, Gina Tucci, welcoming back for today's episode. Gina, how are you?
Hi, Philly Pete. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Well, there you have it. It's great to have her back. And today we're going to be discussing The Way Back, the movie that we actually saw this last night. It was one of our movies that was on our list that we can cross off now that we've been waiting to see. Basically, Rotten Tomatoes gave them an 84%, and audience score gave them an 84% as well. So, I give it about an 85% as well. Gina, what'd you give this rating?
I liked it. I agree with the ratings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we both agree there. I thought it was a phenomenal movie. So quick rundown real quick before we get into it. Back in high school, we get introduced to Ben Affleck's character of Jack Cunningham. We know he had everything going for him. Basketball phenom, could have punched his ticket to college, even the pros. But instead he walked away from everything, forfeited his future. His dad was a lowlife. And basically his glory days are done. But it turns out, not forgotten. Years later, he gets a chance to take his life back. Struggling basketball team, which was his alma mater. He gets called back to be a head coach. And, obviously he accepts it. And surprisingly, no one more than himself. And as the boys start coming back together from being bad to good and finally winning games, it could be his last shot of redemption. So, Gina, I want you to start out with this. What do you think about that movie?
First of all, I wanted to say that was a great synopsis of the movie.
Yeah,
Pete.
thank you.
I liked it, and I think that the basketball team, being that they were 1-9 when they began, or that when Ben Affleck comes into the story, I think they both needed each other to grow. So I think that was kind of the point of the movie. The kids needed a good coach, basically, to kind of clean up their act on the court and off the court. And Ben Affleck's character needed the kids to kind of have a focus on what he needs to do to heal, because we find out that, unfortunately he suffered a trauma with his child passing. I'm assuming from cancer or some sort of issue that I believe it was childhood cancer. They don't really go into it, but he dove into the very deep web of alcoholism, which unfortunately, I know all too well. I've taken care of a lot of alcoholics in my past, and there's a lot of deep rooted issues. It's not just that thirst for a beer. It's that there's issues going on, like a loss that has significantly impacted their family, their life, and he went through a divorce. I mean, a lot of things lead people to alcoholism, and you could see his denial throughout the movie of his problem. And you know what, that's the classic case of the alcoholic that I have experienced in my work life. So you could see the denial, you could see the trauma that started it. And basically you thought he was at rock bottom in the beginning, but he really wasn't. And then you see him hit rock bottom, and then at the end, I really liked the ending. How I won't give it away, but I liked how he didn't get what he wanted. He got what he needed.
Yeah.
So, and then he eventually picked up the basketball and was playing basketball, which we know he had stopped throughout the movie. The only thing I did not like about this movie is in the beginning when the principal reaches out to him to say, hey, the coach had, some health issues. We want you to step in. And then he was adamant that it was going to be a no. He told the principal, hey, no, I'm not interested. Like that's done and gone. But then when he, gets home, you see him, of course, give in to his alcoholism and drink I don't know, it was probably like a 30-pack of beer. There was a lot of beer. And he's still like going over the conversation in his head like we all do, contemplating it. But he was still saying like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And then the next day you see him accept the job. So that was a little bit confusing to me. And I thought that they would explain why he had a sudden change of heart, because it looked like he had zero interest. So that was my only question about the movie. But otherwise, I really liked it. The kids were funny in there. They really helped Ben Affleck recover and vice versa.
It's good. And it's kind of when he gave the captaincy to one of the kids, the point guard, you saw him like walking home by himself, all the time. And he finally picked him up after a game, and he's like, why, like, where's your parents at? And like I said, I don't want to like ruin it for those that are tuning in that haven't seen the movie yet. Again, I highly recommend this. A very, very great basketball flick, with issues and turning your life around, and then a lot of back and forth in this movie. But I think Jack Cunningham, Ben Affleck's character, kind of reflects on the point guard that he picks up, because Ben Affleck's dad wasn't around, and actually both of his parents weren't. I think the mom was around, but the dad wasn't around. He basically just didn't approve him of basically expanding his career to being a basketball player. He got a full ride to Kansas University and backed out. So if he accepted the offer, it was a full ride too. He got a full ride scholarship to Kansas. Could have gone there 4 years, 3-4 years, went pro, and who knows what could have happened. But this kind of correlates to where he picks up the guard. Again, mentions it to the kid, where your parents, and he said, my mom's not around, and my dad just basically is like a scumbag. He works and doesn't really care for me and doesn't care for my career, and knows that basketball is not going to be my future. And it kind of correlates with Jack Cunningham's childhood. Like his dad saying the same thing kind of represents and correlates this kid. And it's funny because Jack then goes to where the kid's father works. I think it was like a little like a fish market, and basically saying like, listen, your kid loves the game. He's passionate about it. He's our captain. He's yelling at other teammates, and basically like just being as loud as you can to get a specific play done and ran. And that's what a captain is all about. It's all about being passionate and running a team and making sure things run smooth that they should be. And he's getting offers galore. Like he's getting offers, and his dad is basically saying, oh hey, he's not going to be playing sports when he grows up. Like what? He's going to be riding the bench in college if that's the case. Like, no, that's not how it works. You see him walking away, like not giving a crap, and then Jack's like, okay, you'll see. He has a fit for the sport, and he loves everything about it. You get a lot of back and forth. You get a lot of memories. He obviously is an alcoholic, and what did he kill? Like a 30-pack of beer.
At least at one sitting.
Yeah, and
it was sad.
It was sad. It was sad. We'll give you that. It's a very emotional movie. It's a roller coaster of emotion, and funny, but it's more like emotion, but like turning your life around and gaining that confidence that you didn't have, and and basically this team was faltering. His alma mater, he gets drunk, and he's just kind of like, okay, I don't want to take this job, but then he wakes up in the morning, which I was confused about as well, G, and he just, I don't know, he doesn't make a phone call, he does, and then next thing you know, he's at practice.
Yeah, that's the only part I had questions about.
I agree. Now, what'd you think about when he started back his alcoholism, and then he gets fired?
Well, I recognized how he would cover it up. Like the assistant coach mentioned something to him, like he found beer cans in his office, in the office of the coach's office. And he's like, oh yeah, I had friends over and we were watching the tapes, and that's a classic denial.
Yeah.
And just I just remember that, hearing that with the alcoholics that I've treated. But then of course things get more serious, and the principal comes in, and he's like, you can't bring these alcohol around minors in a Catholic school. I mean, that's really, really, really looking for trouble. And I think he rightfully deserved it. And I think it's the case where you kind of needed to hit rock bottom to get up. I mean, there really was nowhere else for him to go but up.
Yeah.
So and it's like I said, I liked how they didn't put him in the game at the end, the coach, but like I said, he got what he needed, not what he wanted.
Right. And that's correct. And like I want to rewind a little bit when he first started coaching, and they were 1-9, and he told the kid, stop dancing.
Yeah, they were doing like a warm-up celebration, which is pointless.
Yeah. And when you're 1-9, and listen, I told Gina this the other night. If I was a head coach, and we're 1-9 and we're absolutely garbage, and you're dancing to get your team quote unquote pumped up, you're getting benched for the rest of the game. There's no need for that. It's embarrassing. You're not here. You are basketball. Sports in general. You're supposed to have fun. That's the point of the game. But it gets to a point where it's just too much, and that was just too much for my liking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you.
I think that was a good decision.
Yeah.
I think that was a good coach, just a very mature coach decision.
And that's when he started to wake up as a head coach. He also let go of his center. He was 4 minutes late, and walking in nonchalantly, didn't care, and basically he's like, listen, you're 4 or 5 minutes late. And what did he do?
He sent him home.
Yeah.
Didn't let him practice.
Kicked him off the team. And,
which was the right thing to do.
Again.
You got to learn.
Yep. Again, and that's how I would be if I was a head coach. You come late, and listen, me in my history of playing basketball, basically all sports growing up, but mainly like even in general, like football and basketball, those were my two main sports growing up and playing, and baseball. But basketball especially, you don't want to be late. You don't want to be late. Games are at night. You have practices. You have practices right after school for a couple hours. But when you're a couple minutes late, you're doing suicides. And or if you're even that much later, you're exactly off the team. And that's how it was, and that's how it still is. But he eventually gets redemption. He brings the kid back on the team. The team starts winning games. I think they won like 10 in a row. They lost that game to get into the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then they had to play Memorial.
Right, the better team.
Yeah, Monument Memorial team. Their parish, and they won,
which was great.
Yeah. Now they gave it to the captain, and he said that you're the captain of the team.
Mm-hmm.
I want the ball in your hands, right? And what happened?
They won.
Yeah, And he took the last shot, boom, and guess what? They're in the playoffs. Jack Cunningham's basically coaching career is just fulfilled. But then that's when it takes a twist of fate, and they lost him and his ex-wife lost their son at the age of 9 to an illness, and then they found out that their best friend's kid is basically on the same way. And then what happens then?
And then he resorts back to his old ways, goes to the bar, has to be walked home by an old man, which is really pathetic.
Yeah.
Because he literally can't stand up.
Yeah.
So he, basically is late for practice, kind of a taste of his own medicine. Oh yeah, that's right. He had a pretty bad car accident, and then he thought he was going into his house, but he actually went into somebody else's house. Yeah. It goes from bad to worse very quickly. And, I was watching it and thinking, like, I really hope this is his wake-up call, because if it ends like this, I'd be really mad.
Yeah.
So, he has his wake-up call, he has the accident, he stumbles into random person's house, and they call the cops, and he winds up in the hospital, and then basically he wakes up, and his sister's like, you need help. Like, we should have done this a long time ago. And he gets the treatment for alcoholism, which, I like that they showed him in therapy, and they showed him and his ex-wife kind of not bonding, but starting the healing process. Because they both, we all grieve in different ways. Yeah. And of course, they're probably both suffering and they grieve in different ways, and they kind of needed to talk about that. And so, I don't think losing a child is easy, and I don't think you'll ever be over that. Mm-hmm. But you have to come to peace with it, because it's not what you're given, what you're dealt with. It's how you move forward, and I really agree with that.
Yeah, so I agree too. And this is a movie where it has its ups and downs. In the beginning, he's a construction worker. You just see a bunch of booze, and then he's just in bad shape. He just goes to the bar every night, drinks his ass off, and then it turns to be good. He stops because he has a great gig going on, and then it turns to another emotional and another twist where his best friend's kid is dying, and
of the same thing. Presumably the same thing his kid was dying from. Flashback, which would trigger anybody for anything.
Yeah, exactly. And then he has a roller coaster of emotions, and he's back to where he was in square one, drinking. He gets shots from this woman in the bar and goes home with her. And then, like Gina said, he stumbles and goes to the bathroom in this random person's house, crashes his car, and like I said, gets arrested, and he's back to square one again, like how he is. Alcohol. But then, like I said, it just gets to the point where they're in the playoffs. His basketball team, he gets fired. He gets let go of his duties. He was caught drinking. When he came in late, the assistant coach smelled booze on him. The kids smelled booze on him. But they made the playoffs. And to me, I just think that they ran through the playoffs. Who knows what happened? We didn't really get an idea if they won. But based on the radio, you hear on the radio in the background that they were making everything, and they wanted to do this for Coach Cunningham. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal. And then you also saw the point guard's father
come to the game,
right?
Which was really good. It made me smile.
Yeah.
And the kid actually, he saw his father come and walk into the seat, and I was like, oh, this is a great ending. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, it was it was emotional.
It was emotional.
I was kind of holding back a little bit after the fact that they were in the cemetery with their child, and then they found out that like I said, the best friend's child was basically on its way out, with basically the similarities of his kid. I fought back a little bit. That was kind of rough to watch. And like you said, we go through crazy emotion, especially for your child, and you don't want to fail your kid nor your wife, and that's how he felt. But at the end of the day, he woke up, and now he's basically in a little rehab center, and at the end picked up a basketball and shooting, and basically he's ready to restart his life, and who knows where it would be. Maybe he'll get redemption and come back as a coach in the future. Maybe be an assistant coach or some sort of a rehab teacher and a way of sharing experiences? Like, what would you think?
I thought it kind of set him up to be kind of catapulted forward.
Right.
Whatever, if that includes basketball or being on the team of some sort, or being in the rehab, and showing other people like his outlet, and saying to other people like, you can recover, like you need an outlet, whether it's writing or singing or whatever, basketball, sports, running, exercise, anything.
Right.
And I have to admit, it was better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, and I agree too. So, but that basically wraps up the Thursday show of Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only Philly Pete, and none other than the queen on the ice herself, my other half, Gina Tucci. Gina, anything you would like to say before we head out?
Just wanted to say thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody. Pete, thanks for having me on, as usual.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The one, the only, Gina Tucci herself. Gina, thank you again so much for coming back on the show. I truly appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps us up. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe, stay sanitized, and talk to you guys again on Tuesday. Take care, and I'm out. Later.